Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time of stopping by on my channel, welcome to my channel. So today's DIY is on how to make this two-piece hoodie jilbab. And for this tutorial, I'm going to be working with about 5 yards or 4.5 meter fabrics. And I'm using a crepe fabric. You can use other fabrics like Duchess, satin, any other fabrics that have this kind of drape and it's lightweight. For this tutorial, I'm working with 5 yards or 4.5 meter crepe fabric. We are going to be needing an elastic for the skirt also. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold my fabric into two. And this is what I did. I'm going to assume that white paper is actually my 5 yards of fabric. And then the other edge is my 60 inches length. So what I did was to fold that into two. And then on the folded edge I took my skirt length plus 3 inches, which is 2 inches for the elastic and then 1 inch for M allowance. So that's basically what I did. So the length there is my skirt length. So for the length I have 43 inches, which is my skirt length plus extra 3 inches for my elastic and also for my seam. What I'm going to do next is to create my elastic opening for the skirt. So just go right there and then fold the fabric to create my elastic opening. And that's the elastic I'm going to be using. So moving on to the upper piece, my camera stopped recording, so I'll just be explaining what I did. My gown length is 55 inches. For this tutorial, I'm going to be deducting 10 inches from my gown length. So I'm using 45 inches for my upper length. And I'll be adding 1 inch for seam allowance. So that means for my upper part, I'm using 46 inches. So the length of the fabric I have is 46 inches in two places. And then I still have my normal 60 inches length. So what I did is I folded the fabric into two, after which I folded into four. So that's the fold I have. Then after folding, I just went ahead to take my neckline for both my front and then my back together. So that's the fold I have. I have my fabric folded into four. And the length of my fabric is 46 inches. So for the edge there, I went up by 20 inches. And then I made a curve to the other edge of the fabric. So I went up by 20 inches or 50 centimeter. And then from that point, I made a curve to the other edge of the fabric. For my neckline, I used 3.5 inches by 1 inches for my back neckline and then 3.5 inches by 3 inches for my front neckline. So I basically took 3.5 inches for the width and then 1 inch for the back neckline depth and then 3 inches for the front neckline depth. And then I just took my wrist measurements and I added 0.5 inches. So I took 4.5 inches at that point. So for more context, I took my neckline first, which is 3.5 by 1 for the back, 3.5 by 3 for the front. After which I took my sleeve measurements and then I went up by 20 inches and then I curved to the other edge of the fabric. And then I just cut that out. So I cut out the back neckline for both first, after which I removed the back piece and then I trace out the front neckline. Then I just cut out the curve and then the sleeve part. So that's basically what I did. I cut out both my back and front piece together first, after which I take out my back piece and then I trace out the remaining part of my front piece. So we'll have something like this after cutting out. Then the next thing I'm just going to do is I'm going to stitch the sides. So I'll go ahead and stitch both sides. Then moving on to our old part, I'm going to be drafting on the pattern paper first and then transferring to a fabric. So for the pattern paper, I have 20 inches by 15.5 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and take my front neckline measurement and also my back neckline measurements. So for my front neckline, I have 12 inches. And for my back neckline, I have 10 inches. So what I'm going to do next is to divide those measurements by 2 and then add 1 inch for seam allowance. So now drafting a hood, I'm going to take 2.5 inches at the lower part and then I'm going to connect the other points. After which I'm going to take a diagonal 7 inches point and then using my curve ruler I'm just going to connect that. And from that point, I'm just making sure that I have 7 inches there. And from that point, I'm going to mark 6 inches for my back neckline. And then I'll go ahead and take the midpoint of the part, which is 8.5 inches. And I'll just mark that. And then from that point, I'm going to make a curve to join the 6 inches point. Then on that end, I'm going to take 4 inches. And I'll go ahead and connect other points together. And now connect that to the upper edge of the pattern paper. All this can also be done with free hand if you don't have a curve ruler. So I'm just connecting all the points. And after connecting, we should have something like this. So the next thing is just to cut our pattern out. And if you're still watching up to this point, that's probably because you're enjoying the tutorial. And kindly smash the like button so that YouTube can recommend these videos to other people that might find it useful. After cutting out, we should have something like this. So I'll just go ahead and place it on our fabric to cut. So my fabric is folded into two. And then I'll go ahead and pin that down and then cut it out. After cutting out, we'd have something like this. The next thing is just to stitch our hood. To do that, we are going to be stitching from that edge by 1 inch to the other edge, and then we are going to leave our hood opening and also the neckline part. We're only stitching the cuffed parts of the hood. I'm just pinning the part that we need to stitch, and then we'll be hemming the parts. So after stitching, this is what we have. I'll just go ahead and notch it so it's laid down flat. And then I'll turn it to the other side and hem the opening. And if you decide to put a rope in your hood, you can decide to make a rope opening instead of hemming it. But I decide to just hem mine and not insert a rope. So moving on to our upper parts, I joined the sides already. So the next thing is just to fix our hood to it. I'm also done hemming the hood and then I gave it a good press. I'll just go ahead and attach this to the upper parts. So I'll be starting with the midpoint of the back neckline. And then I'm going to take the joining part of the hood to the midpoint of the back neckline. And then I'll be pinning from that point. So I'll be pinning right side facing each other. And we're going to be stitching that way also. So I have it all pinned down and I'll just take it to my sewing machine to sew. For the skirt, I made my elastic opening and with the pin, I'll go ahead and fix my elastic to it. When I get to that edge, I'm going to pin my elastic down and then I'll continue to the other edge of the opening. So I'll go ahead and pin the other side down also. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll take it to my sewing machine and then stitch on the elastic. I'll be top stitching on it. I will also join the sides and then hem the down part of the skirt. To top stitch on the elastic, I'm going to be dragging the fabric and the elastic also. So the elastic can still retain its elasticity. After which I'll join the sides. I'm just joining the sides. Then I'm hemming the lower part of the skirts. So this is the finished look of our skirts. All done. So moving on to the hood parts, I'm just sewing the hood to the abaya piece, right side facing each other. Then after stitching, we should have something like this. The next thing is just to attach sleeves to our upper parts. And to also hem the lower part of the upper piece. So for the sleeves, I have my elastic, which is my waist measurement. And I also have a fabric of about 12 inches by 10 inches. I have two pieces of that. I'll go ahead and make my elastic opening and then sew my sleeves. And then I'm just hemming the lower parts of the upper piece. So this is what I have after stitching the sleeves. The next thing I'm just going to do is to go ahead and attach it to the upper parts. And to do that, I'm going to turn my upper part to the wrong side, and then I'm going to insert the sleeves the right side facing each other, and then I'll go ahead and sew round. So I'll just sew that all around. And after sewing, this is the finished look of a full two-piece jilbab. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. And if you do, don't forget to like, share, and if you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section. So for more videos like this, you can check out my playlist on the screen and my other videos. So thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in my next tutorial inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Bye for now.